up 5% from last year.
Wonder how much I could buy the Rays for if I wanted to. Move them out of a new stadium.
I wonder what their value is. I don't have the list of all the teams in front of me. Their stadium is awful.
I mean, wrestling the A's out of California would be too much money that I'd be willing to, like, go underwater in, but I could deal with Florida politics.
You might be able to get anything in California in some cases for a lot less than it's worth.
Florida is a lot simpler, Yeah. It's a lot simpler.
So the Red Sox
I don't know why you think it'd be so hard to get the A's out. I mean, they're trying to get out like that,
but
that's their whole attempt is to get out of California.
Yeah, but to move to Vegas, like just the places that have to move. Like I would rather just move the Rays across town as opposed to the A's across, state lines.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be in Vegas soon. I don't think there's really much doubt about that at this point. And you're going to see the city of Oakland having 3 professional sports teams like 3-4 years ago, all the way down to 0, most likely. So well done there. Well done all around. And, I don't know all the particular politics and things of that nature. I know Oakland's a city that's got a lot of history and just things that have occurred over the course of history. But, yeah, I mean, to look up and to see 3 pro sports franchises that are not just like, just ho-hum franchises. We're not talking about the Rays or, somebody who's not got a long history. We're talking about the A's. We're talking about the Warriors, which, 20 years ago, if they moved, I don't think anybody would have blinked an eye. But now, obviously, it's a massive, massive deal. And then the freaking Raiders. Like, you lost all those teams? You lost the Raiders, Warriors, and potentially the A's, and you're going to be no pro sports at all. And you don't even have a college team that people really root for out there. I guess Cal Berkeley. I mean, Stanford to an extent in the Bay Area, but golly, like I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, St. Louis has had that issue at times, right? They've had a few come and go.
They still got the Cardinals and the Blues.
Yeah, but the Cardinals, like I would say, the Cardinals are the identity in the Blues to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But if you ask the people in St. Louis which team is their identity, who's their heart and soul, it's the Cardinals. It's Stan Musial.
Absolutely.
It's Bob Gibson and all that. But
they do miss the Rams, though.
Yeah, they do miss but the Rams weren't theirs first.
Right.
You're
right.
Well, they lost 2 NFL teams.
Yeah, they did. But even then, they lost that one. But I think that because they got the Rams so quickly after, the burn wasn't as bad. But I do think if you ask the people in Oakland, what's your identity? They wouldn't say the A's and they wouldn't say the Warriors. They would say the identity of Oakland
is the Raiders,
and they're gone.
Are the Raiders? Yeah, and from the chat room, Aaron, Ray should move to Montreal. Timothy, where would you guys move them? Tom Harvey, let's go. I'll chip in a few bucks with Paul. Timothy, move them to Charlotte, Raleigh, North Carolina, or Raleigh, North Carolina. Move them to Montreal. A's move to Vegas.
I actually read an article the other day on NBA expansion, and I think it's, there's a lot of hoops and things that have to be jumped through, but just kind of fast forwarding, I really feel good about the fact that we'll probably hear about a Las Vegas franchise very soon. As they're building this brand new arena that they don't have anything for, quite frankly. Yeah. So they're building it for a reason, and I'm pretty sure it's an NBA team. So they're going to get one, and then I think Seattle gets another one. So you'll have the Sonics back, and then whatever the Vegas team will be. But, Vegas getting baseball at some point, I mean, I don't know. That they seem like they're gearing up to have all 4. So you can probably put them in just about any expansion talk. But, yeah, I've heard Charlotte, as a MLB town before. I just don't know, not being as well versed in those areas, how much of the population consists already of built-in fan bases that wouldn't maybe be as interested as you think. Is Charlotte like a big Braves territory to where if you brought in a team, would you be able to move those fans? You know what I'm saying? What markets can actually sustain it and keep bringing fans in on a consistent basis?
Could they do what the Ravens did? When they moved to Baltimore, there used to be a franchise. But Panthers have a pretty good core, but is there anything there like baseball?
Well, and I'll just Charlotte to me, I would think would be pretty solid Braves territory. And
I think so.
And I can just compare it to.
Well, there's another team there that just won a World Series not too far away, right? In Washington?
Yeah. So, yeah. But, I think that's more maybe like a Mason-Dixon line kind of a thing. But I look, Nashville. Okay, so Nashville has everything else, right? Well, they don't have basketball, but Memphis.
And I don't think
ask you about Nashville.
But
they're not
Nashville,
going to. They don't look like they're pursuing basketball.
no, but because they have Memphis, it's right there. So like Tennessee has.
What about baseball?
But they don't have baseball. But part of the problem would be, which what Craig is saying, Nashville's a Braves town.
No, yeah.
I mean, that's a Braves town. You walk around Nashville and you see a lot of Braves shirts.
Here's a story. I don't know exactly what these cities are listed in no particular order. Montreal, a fan base that supported the Expos quite well until ownership started dismantling the team in the late 90s. Would have won a World Series, probably would have been a part of that race in '94 when the season was shut down. Vegas, Portland.
See, Portland, the reason I think the Major League Baseball thinks Portland will work is because Portland is a city that's kind of stuck in the 90s when baseball was still popular. Like really popular. But I mean, like, why would you move?
I think that would be the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah.
I think that thing would probably move in 3 years. I mean, I know they support the Trailblazers, but I wouldn't put too much there other than that, honestly. And the Mariners are not that far away.
Yeah.
So, and then you got like 5 teams south of you in California. So, yeah, I don't know about Portland as a baseball
And they
market.
lost an NBA franchise, right?
Who?
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Seattle. No. Pros to Portland, larger TV market than 7 existing Major League teams, and the largest TV market in the United States without a Major League Baseball team. Well-organized group. The Portland Diamond Project has been working on getting baseball to the city since 2017. The cons, they have a minor league park. They could have been expanded for baseball, but it was converted to a soccer field, a stadium years ago. Lost a AAA team as a result of it.
Yeah.
The Seattle Mariners claim Portland as TV territory and might not be real thrilled about losing that territory.
They're so close. I mean, in just the grand scheme of things. And I know they've been working on ballpark stuff and trying to figure all that out. I just, maybe it would work. I don't know. I just immediately, I think it's just too close vicinity-wise, and I just don't think, no matter what the TV ratings say, that's a market that's going to go fully support a brand new MLB team. Going to the Expos, though, I mean, that is an interesting one. Is Montreal, are they in it? Are they in the race? Would they like to have a baseball team back? I mean, a lot of people, look back glowingly, but nobody really cared at the time. I mean, Montreal fans cared, but, we saw them just go to the wayside. So I think, you got to be careful when you start talking about bringing franchises back. Like, I have no doubt Seattle will support the Sonics when that happens, because I think that's going to happen.
Well, they were furious about it.
Yeah, that was a whole big to-do. Like, that was a whole big thing. So I have no doubts that they would be able to support the Sonics, but I'm just not so sure that just everybody who had one means that they should have one again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. From the chat room, Timothy, by the way, don't forget St. Louis also lost an NBA team, the St. Louis Hawks. I think back when they had, was it Wilkins or whoever, some star, Pettit. I don't know if Bob Pettit played for that team back in the day. They became Atlanta. Charlotte is very much a Braves area from Aaron.
Yeah, see.
From Chris, San Antonio, Austin is a hotbed for growth, and the Alamo Dome empty for any team to move to. I don't know if they want to play baseball in that stadium.
I would think that the Rangers and the Astros would probably have something to say about that.
I don't think Texas needs a third baseball team, but I know that San Antonio has been hot and heavy about an NFL team for like 2-3 decades now at this point. And, you've got the whole issue with just the Texans and the Cowboys not wanting to split the pie with a third team. But San Antonio certainly wants an NFL team.
Here's an interesting take in the chat room, by the way, from Ash. As someone who watches a lot of American football, American sport from here in England, the fact that teams can move hundreds of miles and it's considered fairly routine is crazy to me.
Thousands. I mean, look. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't see Man U just picking up and moving to another city.
Yeah, you would with a bunch of people carrying dead bodies. I mean, Chris, add to the Riverwalk's proximity to the Alamo Dome, fans enjoy. San Antonio, I love San Antonio. I think it's an underrated city. I think it's a great city, but I still don't know, other than the Spurs, if another sport there professionally could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could be
if it was, it'd have to be
enough.
It'd have to be football. It'd have to be football.
Don't not sticking a baseball team.
Yeah, exactly.
There, no.
But no, I agree. Charles says stay in Tampa. Look, if they moved that stadium from where they were, not moved the stadium, but they moved and built a new stadium, down on the water in Tampa, where
on the bay in Tampa,
everybody hangs out.
Then
it would work really well. The Lightning do great. Due in large part because their stadium is a cool place to be.
Yep.
So,
Yep. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a gorgeous downtown and also off the bay with all they have, the modernization of Tampa.
But
Raleigh, North Carolina is a team.
Yeah.
A larger TV market than you might think, 24th, but just smaller, just slightly smaller than St. Louis. Fast-growing area, lots of high-tech workers, well-organized group trying to bring Major League Baseball. So that Raleigh, and you have talked about Charlotte.
That's one that's been mentioned a lot. that I've seen Raleigh or Charlotte or both or whatever.
But guess what the problem is?
Go ahead.
Football-related city, a football market like is Charlotte, is what they say the cons are for Raleigh.
Yeah, I mean, for having a football team?
No, a Major League Baseball team. The same as some other cities that have been noted, Raleigh is more of a football market, Duke, North Carolina, et cetera, than they would be a baseball market.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only pro sport that Carolina doesn't have. They've got everything else. So Raleigh is a city that I see on these types of lists quite often. I mean, it's mostly for baseball, it's Montreal, but it's Seattle for the NBA. It's Vegas for anything, quite frankly, although they're getting pretty much everything now, and soon we'll have an NBA team. It's Raleigh for certain sports and, a couple of others here and there. But yeah, I really do think that it's pretty clear the NBA is going to have Seattle and Vegas back in the mix sooner rather than later.
From Aaron, by the way, the Astros would revolt if San Antonio tried to get a Major League Baseball team. And I think
same thing with the NFL.
I think the Cowboys, because they've trained there, I'm not saying there's not a chunk of thousands of Texans fans as well, but there are millions of Cowboys fans throughout Texas, and also San Antonio is a place that when they held training camp there, they could name the number as many people could get in the Alamo Dome or anywhere else. And from Bob Kramer to wrap this up, a couple more chats. NFL owners always have their hands out for a newer and better stadium, pitting cities against cities. And then Steven.
And who pays for it?
Yep, the fan.
Yeah, we do. Yep. Despite the fact these guys have billions of dollars, most of the time the taxpayer ends up on the hook for a majority of it. And I think that's so wrong.
And does not see anything on the back end.
Doesn't see anything in return.
Yeah.
Except for a good time, whatever.
But it still costs them money.
Stephen, Columbus, Ohio, only the Blue Jackets, Major League. The problem with with Ohio is you have the Reds and the Indians.
Yeah.
The Guardians.
Guardians. Yeah.
So that would be kind of hard.